Hello Booktube. I am back today with another book haul video, and today I'm going to show the books that I have gotten recently all through the mail that all deal with one particular subject, that being the southern part of the United States, both from a political and economic point of view, the history of the South. This is a subject that I have long been interested in. In part of my academic career, it was a significant interest and focus of mine, particularly in the political science world, what's known as sectionalism. That's how voting patterns, social mores, different social groupings and tendencies tend to show up in different regions of the country, and the South is one of the most studied parts of that literature. And unfortunately, I haven't. I ceased my academic career. I bailed out of getting my PhD before I wrote my dissertation. So, I guess for that and other reasons, it's a subject I've kind of gotten away from. But I was watching a video maybe a month ago by Brian over at the Crusty Codex, and one of the books he talked about, I guess it had been I don't know if it was a recent purchase for him as well, or if it was just a book that was on his list to read. But that book was The Mind of the South by W.J.Cash, which was written in the early 1940s, 1941. W.J.Cash was a journalist, very interesting character. Unfortunately, tragically, I was sad to learn that not long after this book was published, W.J.Cash died. Whether it was accidental or suicidal, I'm not sure which it was, but he was a real gifted writer. And this is what interested me in particular is this book had been on my mind and on my list for a while. The kind of book that I would kind of add to my Amazon cart and then maybe take off and put back on and take back off. And for whatever reason, I never got around to buying this book. And it just when Brian was doing his video, it kind of made me think of it again, and something just sort of triggered something, and I thought, well, maybe that would be an interesting book to pick up, something that maybe is a little different than what I've been reading. And so I got this, and I have read about 150 pages of it, and it's a very interesting book. He's a really good writer. It's a very accessible book, although he does talk a good deal about economic patterns and behaviors, and it's a book that really seems full of insight as to the nature of people and events and trends, and the different patterns that arise from interruptions and developments in the political and economic world. And I just think I thought it was really fascinating and really great subject. And so I was happy to be able to go online and order a copy of this book, and it didn't cost me much. And in the process of looking up this book and seeing some of the other recommendations that I guess Amazon offered up, or that appeared around the same time, I happened on this book. This is Origins of the New South, 1877 to 1913. It's by the author C.Vann Woodward, who was a name that I was familiar with. I think had one of his other books called The Strange Career of Jim Crow, about the emergence and of Jim Crow policies in the South after Reconstruction. And so I saw this, and it's a pretty big book, almost 600 pages. And something about it just sort of tickled my fancy, and I thought, well, to get this book along with The Mind of the South, maybe that would be a good pairing. And I'm always kind of a sucker for history books, nonfiction books that look at a span of time, particularly if they are sort of targeting a certain area of the country or a certain, perhaps narrower subject. So kind of looking forward to digging into this. When I got this book, when this book arrived, I realized, as not sure why I hadn't thought of it originally, or hadn't thought of it before when I saw the title of this book in particular, and saw the range of years indicated, that this book might be a part of a series. And when I got this book in the mail and looked up the table of contents and some of the early pages, I found that this is indeed a part of a series of books produced by Louisiana State University Press. And I think all of these books are way out of print. And I don't know when the last of these was published. Origins of the New South, 1877 to 1913, was the 9th book in the series. Does the series have a name? I believe it does. Well, looks like A History of the South is what the series title goes under. Again, published by LSU, and looks like it was supported by the Littlefield Fund for Southern History of the University of Texas. And then when I realized that this book was the part of a series, well, another thing that is just sort of catnip to me is to come upon a series of a book series, whether it's the Oxford, History of the United States, or the Penguin History of Great Britain, or what have you. I really, my spidey sense kind of twinkles a little bit, and I just get kind of curious. And so I looked up many of these other volumes, some of which looks like if I were to try to get them, they'd be quite expensive, or maybe not in the best of shape, maybe both. And but I did get inspired to buy a couple more of these volumes. Again, pretty big, thick things. The next one I got is this one here. This is the Southern Colonies in the 17th Century, 1607 to 1689, by Wesley Frank Craven. That's not an author that I am familiar with, but the book didn't cost me much, and it's in really good condition, very clean. Binding is really good, so I was happy to get that. But what I was really interested in was the period after the Origins of the New South ended. That book ended in 1913. And so I ended up picking up volume 10 of this series. This is The Emergence of the New South, 1913 to 1945, by George B. Tindall. Again, not familiar with that name either. Another book that's in very clean, very good condition, good binding. About 700 plus pages. So I don't I can't claim that I'm going to read and I'm going to zip through these books anytime soon, but they've seeing them sort of whet an appetite, and hopefully if I can get through The Mind of the South, I might turn to one of these other books. That concludes the book haul part of this video, but I felt that I would be doing a great disservice to the Booktube community and to the nation and to the world if I didn't use this opportunity to mention a book that that I've had for a really long time and that I really love. Got it again early in my academic studies. It's a book that I've not seen talked about on my little corner of Booktube. Not that that's all that unusual, but it is. I think it's a really well regarded book, and I would heartily recommend people with any sort of interest in Southern politics or Southern personalities to take a look out for this. I don't know how available it is anymore. I assume you can probably get it pretty easily. I doubt that it's. I can't imagine that it's still being published, but surely there must be copies of it, that you can order online. But that book is Southern Politics, State and Nation by V.O.Key Jr. V.O.Key was a Harvard University professor, but he was from the South. I think he was born in Texas, went to the University of Texas, and then migrated to the Northeast to do his academic career and his teaching and his writing. Unfortunately, he died rather young. He was only like 55 when he died, which is younger than I am now. And it's really too bad. But Southern Politics in State and Nation is a fabulous book. It really is a series of chapters on each of the states of the former Confederacy, in addition to a lot of other material about Southern politics. I think the book captures every Southern state: Virginia, Alabama, Tennessee, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, Louisiana, Arkansas, North Carolina, Mississippi, Texas. I don't know if they're, say Alabama, okay, Florida, South Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee. Seems like something's missing. Arkansas. Anyway, so there are the first part of the book, at least the first half of the book, and I guess I hadn't realized this. It's been quite a while since I've read this book, but the first half of the book basically are these snapshot studies of the individual states and the major personalities of those states, and the second and third parts of the book have to do with broader themes and just different processes in the southern states and southern voters. Again, this is a almost 650-page book, but I would really recommend it for the essays on each of the different southern states. I think they're really fascinating. So getting these other books on the South, reminded me of this book. So that's it for this little book haul, this thematic book haul, as I'm calling it, on the southern states in the United States. And well, I hope you're having a good day today, and I look forward to seeing you again in another video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.